Welcome back to episode 4 of the Rebound. I'm Brendan. This is Stefan. Matt's back. Welcome to the Rebound. Alright, so for today's episode, we're going to be talking a majority about the off-season and the moves around the NBA. The primary topic, obviously, Kevin Durant left. Well, technically, he's trying to leave. He didn't really leave yet. But the actual thing that happened is Rudy Gobert got traded to the Timberwolves for 5 first-round picks, 3 unprotected, and 2 pick swaps. And the Jazz got back Jared Vanderbilt, Malik Beasley, Pat Beverly, but they gave up 5 first-round picks.
So, I don't think Rudy Gobert can be undervalued in this league. He can't be underappreciated because no one else in the league is doing what he's doing on the defensive end, interior-wise. Of course, you have people like Giannis who are doing things like that, but come on. 2-time Defensive Player of the Year winner, you can't look over that. I do believe that he is worth any amount of picks, and I don't believe that Timberwolves lost this trade because they still have their young core in D'Angelo Russell, who's still relatively young. You still have Anthony Edwards, who is a possible MVP in future years, and you have Karl Anthony Towns, the best three-point shooting big of all time. I think that adding Rudy Gobert to this roster was the correct move. I think that they gave up a little bit too much, but I still don't think it was enough to call it a loss on the Timberwolves' end, and I think that it was worth it.
I think it could be worth it. I'm not really sure. I mean, you just got to really see how well Rudy Gobert plays on the Timberwolves and how well chemistry he has with Cat and with everybody else on the team. But like, you already have Cat as he can rebound, of course. He's a big center.
He's a double-double.
It's the defense. It's the defense they're looking for in Gobert.
That's true, but you also have Anthony Edwards as well.
I think I'm the complete opposite of Stefan. I think it was a terrible trade. Jared Vanderbilt is a premier defender, super young. I don't know why they gave that up. I don't know how Karl Anthony Towns is going to guard 4s. He doesn't have the foot speed to guard it. Rudy Gobert has 4 to 5 years left on his $40 million contract. He's going to be paying max money well into his 30s when he won't be able to rim run like he can now. Even his rim running now, it's like average to like a little bit above average. He's not really an offensive threat. We've seen that. He can't guard the perimeter in the playoffs. I don't know why they would give up so much of their depth. They lost 3 key players, especially Pat Beverly. He was that defender for them.
Yeah.
Do you have anything?
I mean, they still have room to sign a few more players, and I think that they're going to do that. They could pick up a few players. I think that if they added someone to the roster like Rondo, I think that would definitely help them out a lot because even if he doesn't get that many minutes, he's still going to be able to provide that defense and playmaking to the people around him. And I think that he would definitely be a great signing for them. I think they should definitely consider something like that, or really any young. Not even young. They shouldn't get a young guard. They already have young guards. They should get a veteran guard, like you saw Chicago sign Goran Dragic. If
Goran Dragic would have fit well there.
If Minnesota signed someone like that, I think that would be a great fit for them.
Let me just read you guys their depth chart real quick, and then let me ask you some questions following that. So at the point guard, they have D'Angelo Russell. Not what he used to be. Not the all-star form, but he's passing well. He's not really a defender. Their backup point guard, 5'11", Jordan McLaughlin. Then at the 2, you have Anthony Edwards. And then off the bench, you have Noel, who was pretty good, but he still has room to improve. He's a good defender. He's a good scorer. I feel like his talents are kind of wasted at the 2 position because they give the ball to Cat or Ant. And then at that 3 position, you have like Taurean Prince. You know, Taurean Prince, he's a 3-and-D guy, but not elite at either of those things. And then you got Jordan McDaniels, the older brother. He proved himself really well and efficient, but he's still got something to prove because he's still young. Then you got Cat at the 4, can't really defend. You got Gobert at the 5. They drafted Walker Kessler. You got Balmaro. He's a good shooter, but there's not really much else to his game. So when you see that roster, when you see those pieces and the lack of depth, are you putting them over a team like the Lakers where we have questions on them? but they have a LeBron and an AD. Are you putting a team with 3 guys over those 2 where Anthony Davis is unhealthy? Matt?
I'm not putting them over them, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Because really, I don't think they're not that like evolved to that. I don't think they're really up to that challenge just yet. I feel like they should add more pieces to the puzzle. Maybe sign a player or two, see where that gets them. Maybe even play around with some trades or something like that. Hopefully that can help them.
It's like you talked about last episode when we were talking about chemistry. They had such good chemistry when they won that playing game. You saw Pat Bev standing on the table. He was celebrating. Everyone was crying. Like they won the championship. And you got rid of those players. You got rid of Malik Beasley, who was your heart, your hustle. Even if he was a convicted felon, it doesn't matter. He was putting buckets on the court. And I don't know. I think that losing that chemistry, and after you guys heard that depth chart, there's probably a couple names where you're like, who is this? Has he even gotten minutes? Where would you genuinely put that team after the Rudy Gobert trade in a 1 through 15 seeding in the West?
I think that no matter what, that they had to make a big leap in the offseason because they just made the play-in, and hell, even they didn't believe that they were going to make the play-in game because we all saw how surprised but how happy they were. They literally looked like LeBron bringing it back home to Cleveland. You can't underestimate. They needed something big. They needed something big to happen in their franchise. They haven't had anything massive since Kevin Garnett all those years ago, and I think that this is their next chance to be something big because without gaining that next all-star player, they weren't going to make the next leap to a solid lock for a playoff team, even play-in team, because they weren't even a solid lock for play-in team before, and I think that they now have that with Rudy Gobert, despite the lack of depth. And I do think that chemistry in today's age is a little overrated because of the amount of times that the ball is passed around nowadays as opposed to in older generations. I do think that chemistry is overrated a bit because it's so rare nowadays because of teams
trading so much.
Where you can see chemistry so, how it works so well on certain teams, like the Warriors or teams that have been tenured for 10 years or more. But I do think that teams Brooklyn, when Harden, Kyrie, and KD would play together, they were unstoppable, and you can't say that they weren't. And they didn't have that chemistry, but they just clicked. It's something different.
I feel like since me and Matt play basketball a lot, we know that chemistry is a big part of it. Since I played with you so long, I know if you're gonna cut or if you're gonna pop. And you're talking about the Nets, Harden and KD played together on that team. Then you said the Warriors. That's a team that's together. The Celtics just made it. That was a team that was together. The Bucks. That was a team. We talked last episode about Middleton and Giannis being together so long. And you see the teams that are failing are the ones where they just throw everyone together. Even though they can evolve later on to be something better, it's that chemistry, I think, and I know Matt talked about it before, that it really matters.
Well, although you're right, but you still do see teams without that formed chemistry that have a lot of success. You have Miami with Jimmy Butler in his first year with the Heat. He did amazing. You have the Raptors. 1 year Kawhi is there and he wins a chip. You have teams like that who have immediate success, and
Alright, so there's a lot of stuff during the offseason, and because of those Rudy Gobert trades, the price has increased for star players. Kevin Durant, 5 picks would have seemed like a lot to all of us for Kevin Durant, but now the asking price is 7, which is a lot. So it goes to question what are the chances someone of that caliber or players throughout the league get traded because the asking prices are now so high? So what do you guys think the probability of KD and Kyrie getting traded?
I think it's little to none at this point. This season,
Agree.
I feel like we're already way too close to this
Starts
season.
in 2 months.
Exactly, we're getting way too close for them to get rid of them. And the Nets, they probably personally don't want to get rid of them. They dropped quite a bit of money on them, and they want to use that.
Yeah.
So, and if anything, they want another superstar player that another team's not going to want to give up.
Yeah.
And just and then as many picks as they want to give up, they're just not going to want to do that.
Mhm.
So I just feel like they're gonna stay. And like literally just before, Kyrie just posted that he's comfortable with staying with the Nets for
Yeah.
this season.
He said he wants to stay. He says he wants to finish out his contract, which he said that before. But I
But
don't
you
know.
know, it might be different now that he
It
has
might be
someone like
different.
Kevin Durant with him, and it's also like you have obviously everybody has been talking about how OKC could have been a front runner to sign him because of all those picks that they have in the future, but like they have showed little to none interest in trading for him. So I think that since that was like the possibly the easiest, not the easiest, but a team with the most availability to get Kevin Durant, I don't see that another team can match it as easily as they possibly could with the amount of picks that they were asking for. I also think that OKC would have to give up someone like Shea if they wanted to get a Kyrie KD package because of the thing that Kyrie and KD said, or one of them said at some point that they would want to play together. But even if they do leave, I do not see them leaving together.
Yeah, I think no team has the assets that the Brooklyn Nets want for Kevin Durant, and they definitely wouldn't have enough for both of them.
Yeah.
So I think their needs are gonna be valued a little bit less. The Nets feel a bit hurt. They spent all that money, like Matt said. And going back to the Jazz, how they traded away Rudy Gobert. Now that Rudy Gobert is gone, we've heard about it. Donovan Mitchell percentage, I'm saying it's 98%.
Saying is that certain, really?
I really think he's gonna get traded as well.
So as a Knicks fan,
As
what
a-
do you?
I honestly hope he gets traded. I just hope the Knicks aren't dumb or something and
Yeah,
they
they
trade
don't overpay.
and they don't overpay. They don't get rid of something important, you know. But I really hope Donovan Mitchell does get added to our roster. But then again, like if they get rid of Donovan Mitchell, really, who are the Jazz gonna have?
Exactly. I think the Jazz are going to be a big trading team, so that also follows it up. So they have Clarkson, who was Sixth Man of the Year 2 years ago.
He might start now.
Bogdanovich, who averaged 20 points 2 years ago. He was big, then he was injured, and that caused that bubble run where they didn't really do as well as we thought they should have.
They also don't have Joe Ingles anymore either.
Yeah, Joe Ingles,
Right.
they traded
We
him.
thought that he would be re-signed by this point already.
Yeah.
But no.
And you know, they're shopping Gobert, they're shopping Joe Ingles. What do those two have in common? They're old. They've been there the longest.
Yeah,
Joe
they were
Ingles.
tenured really long.
So you got to think about someone like Mike Conley. Even though it's been like 3 years, he's old. He doesn't fit the timeline. If you could get a first round pick for Mike Conley, I think you do it. So what are the odds for Bogdanovich, Clarkson, and Conley? You think also a player like Hassan Whiteside?
Right. Well, I was also thinking that since with the rumors of Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert already being traded, with all those players that you just named, if they trade them, like what's the likelihood that they that they trade them for picks and go into a rebuild, or what's the possibility that they try to get new players that they can build a new franchise off of? Because of course, Donovan Mitchell is a player that you can trade another All-Star player for, so you could get that another All-Star option on your team, or you can start building for the future. I do think that they are going to go into a rebuild just because of the lack of playoff success that they have, not getting out of the first, second round. So meeting teams like Dallas a lot recently, actually, to knock them out. So I think that they do need to take that next step, but I'm not sure if it would be a rebuild or new players.
I think they're a Victor Wembanyama team.
I do
think they're
that
trying to
team,
lose. I think even though the Knicks don't really have a star player that they would want, like they wouldn't want a Julius Randle, they can get picks and maybe quickly someone like that, and then they'll just lose, coast with losing. If they can't play, find a trade for Conley, they'll bench Conley, and they'll try to get Victor
Agreed.
Wembanyama.
Yeah, I do agree with that statement.
All right, and then the Heat are interesting because of all the Pat Riley comments after. He said Kyle Lowry wasn't doing it right. He said he wasn't in shape. He said it wasn't a waste of the year. He was just disagreeing with everything Kyle Lowry was saying. And then he said, Tyler Harrow, no, I know you want to start, but you can't. Like, you're not, like, I don't know what he was thinking saying that to your players. But if I'm Tyler Harrow, I feel a bit disrespected. I feel like I
Definitely.
can start. I feel like I could be an all-star after averaging 20 as the third, fourth option sometimes to Kyle Lowry, Bam, Jimmy Butler, and even sometimes when it was like Max Strus going off, you wouldn't even see Tyler Harrow get that many minutes. So what is the likelihood, although it might be slim, of Tyler Harrow getting traded?
I don't think he'd get traded. I think he enjoys his time with the Heat. Like even though he does have like those
Yeah,
those humps with the coaching staff and
it's
everything.
Miami.
It's Miami. He's gonna want to stay there, and I feel like they will give him that opportunity eventually. Will that be next year, or will that be like this coming season or the next? We don't know.
I don't think that they would want to trade their leading six man. I think, honestly, I think that if he was a starter, I think that there would be a big likelihood that they would trade him, just because he would have that opportunity to be able to give any team 25 on a nightly basis. But I don't know. I think that Tyler Hero, despite the level of disrespect that you said that he has been faced with, I think he recognizes that. But I also think that since he's a young guy, he's looking forward to his future a lot. And being so young and playing in the NBA Finals 2 years ago, I think that since he got a taste of that, he wants to go back to that. I mean, who wouldn't want to go back to that? But I think that he got a taste of that, and he knows that he can get back to that level with the Heat on any given year. And I think that he knows that the relationship that he's building with his team right now can carry them back to the finals.
Alright, so we're going to take a quick break in this segment. We're going to play a little game. You see it on ESPN all the time or TNT. It's called Who He Played For.
Alright.
So I'm going to read you guys some names. We'll start off easy, then we'll go middle, then we'll go hard.
Okay.
And then we'll see who gets the most of these, who has the most knowledge. So, who he played for? We're going for the first easy one. We're going DeJounte Murray. Where does he play for?
Atlanta Hawks.
Atlanta Hawks, yeah.
And we're going Jalen Brunson.
Next.
Next. And we're going Karis LeVert.
Because he was on
Pacers.
yeah, was it? No, wait, he was Pacers, right?
No.
Nets?
Nope.
Wait, hold on.
Bro, because he's been getting like tossed around.
He got traded, like, at the trade deadline almost. From the Pacers.
From the Pacers?
From the Pacers.
He's not on the Celtics.
No.
No, I know
I
that.
give up. I don't know.
Wait, Trailblazers?
No. Everyone good?
We're good. We give up.
Karis LeVert plays for the Cavs now, guys.
Why was I low-key gonna
Dude, he started
thinking
it. Alright, now we're going Otto Porter Jr. Used to play for the Warriors.
Is he on the Chicago Bulls?
Nope. Close. Like that team.
Lakers?
Nope.
Oh, wait.
Has he liked the Bulls? Cavs? No.
No.
Nuggets? No.
He's an Eastern Conference team. It's a team with a lot of wings. He fits the mold, just a little bit older.
Hawks?
Nope.
You took wings too literally.
No, I did.
Cause like Hawks, you get
Yeah.
it. Yeah, you got it.
Bro, my knowledge is so rusty right now.
Porter
I
Jr.
give
now
up.
plays for the Raptors, you guys.
Oh, I
Raptors.
remember that.
Gary Payton Jr.
Oh, he got oh, no, I saw this. But he's not on the Warriors anymore.
Nah.
Lakers.
No.
No.
What?
Uh,
Heat? No, not the Heat.
shoot.
I don't know this
It's a
one
Western
either.
Conference team.
I know it's a
Western
Western
Conference,
Conference.
It's not Memphis. It's not Clippers.
He's gonna be playing with a good guard over there. Really good guard.
Trailblazers?
Trailblazers. That was it.
Trailblazers, yeah. TJ Warren.
Nets.
That's Serge Ibaka.
Ooh.
Wait, I
He's
didn't.
got Bucks.
Bucks, yeah.
I did not know that one.
Wesley Matthews.
Bucks.
Bucks, yeah. Try to throw you guys off. Damian Lee. Used to play for the Warriors. He stayed in the West. He stayed close.
Wasn't it Trailblazers?
No.
Lakers.
Nope.
It's not. So the Lakers at the time. No.
Raptors is East.
Yep.
Detroit?
Nope.
I give up.
I give up too.
Suns.
Suns.
The
What was
Suns?
What was that spit take?
Yeah, he played for the Suns.
All right, now we know.
Okay, now we're going to the what just happened? The harder section. All right. Who she play for? Brittany Griner.
Russia.
Putin. She's balling over there.
I actually don't even know her team.
Wait, isn't that the Sparks?
No.
No, it's Candace Parker.
That's like
No,
literally.
I literally had down Russia. No, I don't know what team she plays for.
Oh my god.
Okay. The next
No.
one. This one's super hard. Nemanja Bjelica.
Kings.
Nope. Used to.
I don't even know who
Warriors?
that is.
Oh, Warriors.
Used to.
Wait, what was
Clippers?
it?
Used to. Nemanja Bjelica.
I don't even know who that
Mavs?
is.
Trick question. Nemanja Bjelica
He's a free agent.
is overseas now.
Why would
He
you do
tweeted it.
I don't even know who that
that.
is.
Isaiah Hartenstein.
Clippers.
Nope.
Wait, no, he just got signed to the Knicks.
Knicks, yeah.
Matthew.
Oh my god.
Miles Bridges.
Free agent for the Charlotte Hornets, but is also
in
in
prison.
probably Penn State Penitentiary.
All right, and then the last one, Matthew Dellavedova.
He's on the league.
He just got signed
What?
a couple days ago.
Pacers.
Nope, West team.
This team.
West team.
I did not hear
Kings.
about that.
Yeah. He plays for the
Really?
Kings.
Let's go.
Matthew Dellavedova
Interesting.
is signed to back up the
Interesting.
Fox. It wasn't talked about a lot, so I wanted to bring
I
it
did
up
not hear about that.
because I have love for him. You know that. All right.
Okay, next.
All right. Westbrook.
I don't got a lot of time.
Trade possibility.
Westbrook, I think it's a big trade possibility.
Westbrook, I talked about it in the last video. I think that, I don't know. I still have faith for him. I still believe that he can reach that next level. Like I said before in the previous episode, that he can reach that role where he can be an all-star because he realizes his role within the team. I think that's all he needs to do.
And there's these two teams I want to bring up because they have multiple players, like the Jazz, where they're kind of shifted to the younger side. So the trade possibility, I think, is higher. But I just want to know maybe destinations you guys have in mind, like where these players would fit in. So first I'm going with the Hornets, Terry Rozier, and Gordon Hayward. Gordon Hayward asked to leave at the end of the season. Nothing has come out about it. And Terry Rozier, he doesn't fit the timeline. He's on a good contract for how good he is. Where could a Terry Rozier fit in this league, you think? He's a good scoring guard.
Terry Rozier, I think he could fit well. What can I say? Maybe with like Detroit.
Could you see a world where the Lakers say, "What? We'll give you Westbrook, we'll give you THT, we'll give you 2 seconds, and we'll take Terry Rozier, and we'll take Gordon Hayward. There's someone who can play with LeBron."
I don't think that's a good trade on the Lakers' part.
I don't know if they would want to have Gordon Hayward there. Just like you could put him at the 2, but I think with the availability that you have at the forwards there, and I think that I could more see a player like Gordon Hayward fit on Memphis.
Memphis, I like Memphis.
I think that he could work there. They haven't really had a small forward there who has stood out from an offensive standpoint. Obviously, they have from a defensive standpoint.
Hey, Kyle
Dylan
Anderson.
Brooks, Kyle Anderson, and a
Dylan
few others. But on the offensive end, Ja and Desmond Bain were really the two that carried the load offensively. And I think that if they got a guy like him, I don't really know what their pick situation is for future years, but if they have a lot of picks, I would try to give picks to Charlotte for Gordon Hayward. I think would fit well.
I know they traded some away, but this is what I'm saying. They've lost Kyle Anderson. Jaren Jackson's going to be out for a while. Dylan Brooks, he's either injured or has problems on the court. So if they take a Gordon Hayward, would the Grizzlies be willing to give up a Dylan Brooks, who's going to be a free agent soon, and take someone reliable like Gordon Hayward to maybe make that push? Do you think they would do that?
I think so.
I think so too. But do I also see Gordon Hayward maybe going back to the Jazz?
It's also an option,
Yeah.
I think.
They could
Yeah.
trade. I mean, if they really want to, they could trade Donovan Mitchell and then get like some other things from them, like from the Hornets.
Yeah,
That's
if
definitely
the
a team,
Hornets
yeah.
give a package. Okay, you're the Jazz. Picture you guys are the front office of the Jazz. I'm the Hornets. I say, here's Terry Rozier. Here's Gordon Hayward. Here's a first-round pick. Here's PJ Washington. And here's, let's say, a young player we drafted like JT Thor. And we'll take Donovan Mitchell. And not only that, we'll take old Mike Conley. We'll take all his money. I know you don't want him. We'll take him. What are you guys saying to that?
I think I'd say yes.
I would say yes too.
I'd say yes because I think that I would know at that point that we wouldn't be able to make a long playoff push, but I think that at that point we wouldn't need to because Gordon Hayward and Terry Rozier, they're a little bit on the older side, but they're not that old where in 4 or 5 years they're obsolete. So I think that you could keep those players and not form a rebuild per se, but just build around them.
Yeah, stay relevant.
Exactly.
Alright, and then the last team I had with a little tandem is the Pacers. And the Pacers have Buddy Hield and Miles Turner. Miles Turner led the league in blocks this year. He was in Defensive Player of the Year until he got hurt. Buddy Hield, we know what he can do. He can shoot the pill. What is a team do you think that would take that?
I think. Oh no.
This is Nikita, everybody. What do you think?
I don't know. What was it? What was the trade?
So the Pacers, Miles Turner and Buddy Hield. I know they were rumored for the Lakers for Westbrook.
If I was the Lakers, I would honestly take that. I
I
would
would
want
take that so
I would
fast.
want to get rid of Westbrook too,
Yeah.
and like Buddy Hield would be a pretty good addition too.
I feel like there's a hard place to find value for someone like Miles Turner because he's so invaluable with everything he does, stretching the ball. He's just a really good stretcher. What do you think?
I think so too as well. What about you, Stephen?
I can still see Miles Turner and Buddy Hield being front runners to go to the Lakers, assuming that's what we're still talking about.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wand. I can definitely still see them fitting on the Lakers really well. You know, they can. Buddy Hield can fill up the 2. Miles Turner can be the 5, so that Anthony Davis doesn't have to fill the 5, which we all know that he doesn't like to do because he's not
He hates it.
just a player
He's
that
frail.
would want to play the 5. And also, it's not a good idea to play him with the 5. You know, if when we played them at the 5 and LeBron at the 4 this season, it was just evident that he was just getting injured too much because he was going against players like Embiid, where there was just one player where he looked like he sprained his ankle because Embiid just touched his back too hard.
All right. So I think we all know there might be some moves this season. There might not be, but the potential for there to be moves is great. It's probably the highest it's ever been with everyone trying to get Victor Wembanyama or trying to compete and people realizing I'll give away picks for anything, but not too many picks. So that's all we got for this episode. I'm Brendan, Stefan, and Matt, and you're watching The Rebound. Peace.